blowers brace for deeper impeachment drama after Bolton drops his little surprise thing. Within just 24 hours, White House officials went from feeling self-assured about the speediness of the Senate impeachment trial to scrambling to squash John Bolton's bombshell allegation. Now, the White House officials and 45 blowers are preparing for the possibility that the Senate impeachment trial will now summon witnesses, dragging out the trial for days or weeks on end, cutting into plans for the State of the Union address and delaying 45's pivot to his re-election campaign. The only good news for 45 is this is a fuck up the campaign schedule for the Senate 2020 candidates for weeks. Candidates for weeks to come, said one Republican close to the White House. Calling witnesses would make the trial much more unpredictable for the White House and the Republican Senate leadership, which was caught by surprise by the revelations in the Bolton's book manuscript. The book draft says 45 told Bolton to keep withholding military aid to Ukraine until officials there agreed to investigate his political rivals, a statement that undercuts a key element of the 45's legal defense. 45 called that information totally false at the White House on Monday morning, which it wasn't, after he launched a series of overnight tweets during this allegation. This opens up a can of worms because the senators don't get to vote on calling individual witnesses, said a former senior administration official. If Bolton testifies, then what does that mean for Pompeo or Mulvaney on assertions of executive privilege? It gets complicated and uncertain really fast. 45 blowers are already thinking through which witnesses would be best to rebut potential testimony from, and Bolton and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Bolton said he has said he will testify if the court subpoenas him. The White House is also viewing the calling of witnesses as a tit-for-tat situation. If Democrats want to call Bolton, then Republicans and 45 will try to call their own witnesses. 45 has long wanted the Senate to hear from witnesses like Hunter Biden or even the whistleblower, who basically are not the one on the impeachment trial here. That's that they're not the one being impeached. 45 is. Does the White House assert executive privilege over Bolton? If so, who gets to go to court? The Republican close to the White House added, does the court take jurisdiction or say this is a political question between the other two branches? Does the Supreme Court, does the Chief Justice Roberts make the decision? Does he have the power to do so? And so many questions. In an interview, Senator Ed Markey, who's a Democrat from Massachusetts, called the Bolton book disclosures a bombshell with political shrapnel going in all directions toward the Republican Party to figure out how to handle this. The White House press office did not respond to a request for comment. On Sunday night, senior administration officials were taken by surprise and rushed to find out information about who knew what and when. The White House fielded concerns from Republicans on Capitol Hill who were not aware of the allegations in Bolton's manuscript. A senior Republican aide said GOP leadership was not made aware of the allegations ahead of time. Bolton's attorney was quick to point a finger at the White House for allegedly leaking the contents of the book to the New York Times and called the review process corrupt, and that information had been disclosed by persons other than those properly involved in reviewing the manuscript. Ambassador John Bolton, Simon & Schuster, and Javelin Literary categorically state that there was absolutely no coordination with the New York Times or anyone else regarding the appearance of information about this book. The room where it happened at online booksellers. Any assertion to the contrary is unfounded speculation, said Bolton spokesperson Sarah Tinsley. The revelations came just before the White House presented its second day of opening arguments in the Senate impeachment trial, though one aide insisted it would not change the overall legal strategy and promised the outreach to Republican senators would continue as it had for the last several weeks. Team 45, the Team 45 blowers were probably flustered and recalibrating due to the Bolton disclosures, didn't show any hint of concern Monday on the Senate floor. Jay Sekulow, the longest-serving personal attorney for blowing 45, opened the day's proceedings with cloaked reference to the former Trump aide, or 45 blowing aide. We deal with transcript evidence. We deal with publicly available information. We do not deal with speculation, allegations that are not based on evidentiary standards at all, he said. Sekulow then served as an MC to introduce a series of oh shit, sorry. My brother just texted me. I was laughing at what he just said. Sorry. I'll get back to that in a minute. Sokolow then served as an MC to introduce a series of lawyers who defended the squatter, starting with former Clinton independent counsel Kenneth Starr. Starr delivered a sweeping historical look back at impeachment and warned against the long-term consequences of removing 45. Jane Raskin then questioned the hyper-focus on her fellow attorney colleague Rudy Dumbass Giuliani. Meanwhile, talking points sent from the White House sought to discredit Bolton, saying the leaks of his book did little to change the facts of the impeachment case because Ukraine ultimately received its security assistance. Doesn't matter. 45 still withheld it, and he didn't have the right to, so that was illegal, so that's still a fucking crime no matter what the fuck they say. 45 campaign staffers and surrogates implied the leak of Bolton's book was timed to goose his own book sales. I don't think that really was, but it's really pretty and remarkable that the leak to the New York Times about the alleged content of Bolton's book coincided precisely with the pre-order page going live on Amazon, said Tim Murtaugh, communications director for 45's 2020 campaign. Before 45 blowing lawyers took to the Senate floor in the early afternoon, several House lawmakers, including Representatives Mark Meadows, Mike Johnson, Doug Collins, and Debbie Lesko, emerged from being on their knees in front of Vice President Mike Pence's Capitol office. One of them, Representative Lee Zeldin, labeled the Bolton revelations as the Democrats' big shiny object of the day to distract what will be several hours of addressing as many things as you can possibly address. Several 45 blowers defended the squatter on Monday afternoon on TV. 45's preferred medium of communication. I don't want to speak for my Senate colleagues, but there are always political repercussions for every vote you take, Meadows said on CBS when asked about the consequences of party members breaking with 45. There was no vote that is higher profile than this.